Welcome to the Creative Leadership Network, where insight meets analysis and conversation spark transformation. So yesterday, in response to my video, Blacks Healing from Other Blacks, I got some responses. One of those responses was from a person, they don't have a photo, but it's ONJIG, if I'm not mistaken, OPRO 3924. Now, if you look up there, they have an edited up there, right? So when they first responded, it was negative, basically. And how they responded was like, you know how when you're talking about the Black community and how Blacks need to heal for one another, or maybe some of the things that people experience from other Blacks, some Blacks will take offense, some other races will take offense, and then they'll say, well, what have you done for the Black community? That's literally in the tone and the way that it was said. But I guess because the person could pick up the energy and the vibration, what they went and did is they went and edited and made it look like they were saying properly in a certain kind of way, okay? But let me respond to you. Now, we all know that we have been taught by religious people and what people say in the Bible, don't tell the works that you do for another, don't do that. Because then you're boasting and bragging about your works and this and this and that, right? So that's not what this is about. What this is about is I've heard people say that plenty of times, what have you done for the Black community? You this, you that, that's fine. And we're gonna go there. So the person asked me to make a video, I'm making a video. Hopefully you guys won't suppress it. Like when people be out there talking, they suppress everything else. We just knock a video, keep them down like we did the rest of them. That's fine. Hopefully you'll go ahead and get this one out there, right? So hopefully you'll be that nice if everybody's being kind. Black people, white people, Mexicans, everybody. They won't try to suppress it, right? Make sure I CEO it right or SEO it right. So let's get there. The reason why I want to touch on this subject is because I'm going to touch on Kendrick Lamar later, and then I'm going to touch on Angie later. But right now, I'm going to do what the person asked me to do. Let's start with my life as a young person. And let's start with all of the things I've done. And I'm not going to give you everything. Dude, that would be too much. You're talking about thousands and thousands of times. And when I say thousands, look, when you've lived almost 50 years, you've done a lot that sometimes you don't even remember you've done. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes I'm walking down the street and a memory come to me and I'll be like, I forgot I even did that. Like, literally, I do things not so I can get something back or not because of this or not because I literally forget some of the things that I've been undone. Like, I literally forget. Like, when I'm up under attack from people and they're lying on me and certain things are going on, literally, the universe or God will bring back to my memory somewhere where I done a great deed for someone and I literally be done forgot. And I'm not even making it up. I will be done forgot. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be like, wow. And it just kind of remind me that even though those people are attacking, remember all the good that you've done. You've done so much good. Because I be so busy, like going through what I'm going through, trying to inspire somebody else, and then dealing with my own, a situation that you just kind of forget, right? Because you're not focused on, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. Like you just not doing that, right? So let me give you a few things that I know that I've done in this earth, things that has caused me jail time, things that has caused me to be thrown in institutions, things that has caused, you understand what I'm saying? Things that I had a city coming after me for because I stood up for something. You understand what I'm saying? So let's get to it. I want to start off when I was younger. I always seen homeless people. I seen homeless people on the streets. I seen, you see people on drugs and stuff like that. So let's start off with who I am and who my real nature is. I would see people talk about them. I would see people make fun of them. I would see people do all kind of things toward them, but I never had that nature to make fun. I never had that nature to say, oh, you crackhead, you ain't nothing, look at you, you messed up your life, like other people do them. I never had this thing where I would say, I would look at people and you know how everybody speak these medical conditions over people, and they call them medical conditions. They really not, they're curses. People are speaking curses. So I never had within me to speak, you got diabetes, you got cancer, you have you strokes, you this and this and that. I've always had this incognitive ability in me to not curse people. You understand? And to not put curses on people. Now that I've gotten older and I see what people be doing, don't get me wrong. I'm always praying, asking God for God to return back to these people the stuff that they be doing to other people, right? But growing up, I just never had that disposition. I just never. So that's one thing about me. That's what I've done for Black people because I grew up in the Black community and in white communities too. So let's break it down because you have to bring some of the things that people don't recognize you've done. So when I see people with dealing with disabilities or dealing with cancers or all this kind of stuff, I don't take my mouth to speak death over them and to say you have cancer. You know, you're this trying to kill them and kill their spirit. So that's one thing I do. And I've been that way since I was young. Now, if somebody attacked me, let me be honest now. If somebody attacked me, I go to blows. Because I know how good I am. I go to blows. I'd be like, may God place back upon you what you thought you could do to me. You understand what I'm saying? Now, let's get down to it. After all these years, there used to be people that run up to me all the time. You know, I used to work for a place called The Cancel, right? So let's talk about Katrina and Rita. I personally, at that time in my life, had never, ever been to a hurricane. Never. Never been through a hurricane. I am from Texas, but I'm not from Houston. I'm from Dallas. And so I've never been through a hurricane. I've lived in Los Angeles, hit an earthquake before back in the 90s, but never been through a hurricane. So when Katrina first hit, the first thing I thought of, and of course it was a bunch of Black people, a whole bunch of Black people. You know that. First thing I thought of, I said, and I was in my apartment. I was at the time, I was working at Kroger and I had just started college, right? So I was working at Kroger part-time and then I had just started college full-time. So I was taking everything I had just to pay my rent and then try to start to do college so I can do better. But the first thing I thought is that, hey, I'm not doing nothing. So how can I help these people? How can I get out there and help them? I said, they need help. Because you know, you was hearing all the stress, you was hearing all the stuff, right? So I came across the Salvation Army. But come to find out how Dallas had it set up, it was like downtown and at different centers. And I said, they had the Salvation Army, they had FEMA, they had everything you can think of, right? So I walked in there and I said, I want to help. I wasn't getting paid. I wasn't doing anything. I just wanted to help. A lot of those people had got transitioned to where we were. So they either went to Dallas, they came, they went to Houston, they went to Dallas, because there wasn't no earthquakes at the time in Houston. So they came to Dallas, they went to Houston, they came all into Texas, right? A lot of those people came, right? Out of Louisiana, right? And so I went down there. So you want to talk about how you help the Black, I'm finna give it to you, baby. I'm finna give it to you. And God knows this is not about bragging or telling what you did in good works. Because sometimes you people need to understand how much we do give and how much y'all step on us and try to dog us out. And why we say Blacks need to heal from other Blacks. They don't just need to heal from white people. They need to heal from Black people. They need to heal from Mexicans. They need to heal from everybody. You understand that? The people who were targeted. So when these people came, there we are, well, there I am, and other people too. And I said, because they'll ask you like where you want to be, where you want to volunteer. I'm like, okay, anywhere, right? So I started volunteering. That's how I got on. See, I don't speak stuff and make up stuff just so there are a lot of people steal stories, right? They say that they've done things that they've never done. There's no proof. They say they were beat by an extension cord. They have no whips. And they make up all these stories and they go make money. But there are those of us who really suffered, and it's our true stories. You can't lie about the extension cord whip. You got to have the proof, Boosie. You got to have burns and proof. I can't really show you. Yes, I can. There you go. I don't know. You got to zoom in with your camera. See that? Those are extension cord whips. You understand that? So when people are telling stories, we got the proof because we've been through it, but they don't have the proof. They just taking stories and making up la-la. You understand what I'm saying? And making money. So why do we help so deeply and y'all step on us and try to kill us so hardly? You understand that? So again, here you go. I'm volunteering. That's how I got on at the council. If you don't believe I worked at the council, all you got to do is check my LinkedIn. It's been up there for years. And so there was a director there that saw my work, and I saw her and I said, hey, and we got to talk. We was at a table because we went to break for lunch. And we got to talking, right? And so she was like, I work at the council and, and all that. And I was like, well, hey, are they hiring? Because I was definitely looking for a job at the time, But at the same time, I'm volunteering going to college, and doing all these things, right? And so she was like, yeah, they're hiring at the council. Come on up there, fill out your application. Because she saw what I was doing and how I was helping, right? And I went up there. And the whole campaign was actually about helping, which one hit first? I think it was Katrina. So helping Katrina, right? And so we there. Now, mind you, these black folks cussing us out. Now, I wanted to show you something. Some of the women who got hired on there were actually out of Katrina. They came to Dallas. So they got the job there. I got the job there. And we're working diligently to help and to really help the community. Anything from free phones to any type of money that was being given out, to any type of transition about housing so these people could get housing, everything. We're not faking. We're working, and because we want people to be helped for real. Like we would even dig through the paperwork and say, child, that ain't no good resource. What's the good resources? Mind you, these people were cussing us out, calling us bees, calling us, telling us all kind of stuff, being very disrespectful. This is what I mean by blacks need to heal from other blacks. That's just one incident. And then Rita hit. That was out of Houston. Same thing. You want to know what? Years later, that hurricane that just hit in in Houston. You know the one. The hurricane that just hit. I forget the name of it. Heron or whatever it's called. I was out there in Houston. I had no covering over my head, nowhere to go. You think those black people helped? Oh, baby, they was mocking. They were right there with the Hispanics and the whites. No, this is what I mean by blacks need to heal from other blacks. That's just one incident. Let's talk about homelessness. Let's get to homelessness, because before I ever endured homelessness, there was many years I never ever was on the streets or never ever was going through things like that, right? I can't tell you how many people that I've helped along the way. Atlanta, Georgia. One time I was in Atlanta, Georgia. If you know anything about Atlanta, Georgia, there's a major shelter there. There's a police force right there on the corner. There's also, what do you call it? Oh, the courthouse, the city courthouse right there. Do you know how bad those homeless people get treated? And they're all black, all of them, by the black people that work there. Now, let me tell you how I found this out. Not because I was trying to put nobody on blast. I don't even really talk about it out there like that. What ended up happening is that there was a young black girl, and because I've been to a shelter before, I knew how scared she was. I remember being younger and, having my kids and having nobody to help me, and I stayed at a shelter 1 or 2 days, and I was very, very afraid, right? So I knew how that young girl felt. These are all black people I'm talking about. I haven't always just helped. I've helped Mexicans, I've helped blacks, I've helped whites. Child, ain't no race thing. I've helped a lot of people, right? But you said, tell what you've done, basically, for the community. So what ended up happening is that the young girl was scared. Somebody in Atlanta had stole her stuff. Now, this is years later, and I was there at the shelter. They had stole her stuff, and that's all her and her baby had. And she was panicking. They told her, and it was freezing cold. They told her, if you don't shut up your attitude, we will throw you out. These are people that work there, y'all. So what did my black tail do? Nobody else did it. Here go big mouth me. You know how they say big mouth. She got a big mouth. F her. Here go big mouth. I done got up in the middle of the shelter and taking up for these people. They were giving the people pissy sheets. You know what pissy sheets are? That means that there are sheets these are things that are donated by the people. They be brand new and stuff, but people will piss on them and stuff. And instead of them throwing away, they'll just maybe wash them, but they have a big stain on them. And they just give them to the people, right? They don't do right by the people. So what ended up happening, they gave it to an older woman one time, and I stood up. I said, y'all know y'all wrong. I said, y'all can't do that. You want to talk about what I did? Let me tell you what happened in response. See, I'm giving you things that I've been through, what I did, and then the response I got for what I did. Do you understand that? So you can stop thinking that we just open our mouths and saying stuff, but we ain't never did nothing. So I stood up and I said, guys, this is wrong. And I stood up for these people, right? You know what they ended up doing? One of the guys, because we have to do work at the shelter, right? So you have to do whatever it is that you need to do at the shelter. You may have to sweep, you may have to wash dishes, you may have to fold sheets or whatever it may be, you know. So I was telling one of the guys, I said, you know, y'all that's kind of wrong. You know, y'all can't be giving people like pieces of sheets to stay on and stuff like that. I said, that's wrong, you know. All these good sheets back here and you do that. So the dude threw one of the sheets at me and he was like, shut up or we do it to you. And I thought he was playing because he acted like he was laughing, right? I didn't think that it would turn into a point of me getting thrown out. So I took the sheet and I threw it back. And I said, dude, I said, no, you will not. Because I would go behind the counter and get my own sheet. But it was a laughing fun, right? And so what ended up happening the next exact morning, the caseworker that worked there called me into the office. She was a black woman. All of these people were black. And said, we want you out. And I said, what did I do? Now, mind you, it was freezing cold. It was not only freezing cold, it was raining in Atlanta. And I said, what did I do? And I said, I don't understand. She said, you disrespected one of our staffs. I said, no, I did not. And so I tried to explain to her and break down what was happening. She said, I don't care. I said, ma'am, your camera right there. I don't care. We want you out of. Oh, baby, you should have saw it, right? So I left. That's why I've never stayed in the shelter again. That's how I ended up being on streets. And I said, screw these people. Because I know what they do to these people in these shelters. Like, people are not honest about what goes on. They're not honest. This is why people sleep in their cars. This is why people don't like those shelters. This is why people sleep on streets or whatever they need to do, or sleep in parking lots and cars, or ride buses all night long, because you don't understand what us do to us in these places. Why they do this is brutal, y'all. It's brutal. So this is what happens when you stand up. So they brought in the police. They threw me out. I was in the cold, right? I went and laid. There's a law firm. If anybody knows Buckhead is right up there called Uptown. You got Publix up there and everything. So you will know that I'm not lying. You just can't make this stuff up. I haven't been to Atlanta in years, but you will know I'm not lying. So I went up there and I laid on a law firm. Every time I would go to like a hotel to try to get the black people come, you get out of here, you know. And then what happened was I laid on a law firm one time to get out of the rain and the cold. It was slugs right there and everything, you know, little slimy slugs. And I just would scoot them out the way and I stayed up in there, right? And this white man comes up there, he gives me some money, and then he says, because I scared him. I think he was walking in there. I think he was cheating on his wife or something, because he had a little young hottie on with him. And so I scared him because I was up in there. He was like, ooh, you know, and I scared him, you know. And so he gave me a little dollars, a little few whatever. And I always give back. I took the same money just to show him appreciation and went and bought a card at Publix, a little thank you card. And I wrote on the card, I said, don't forget me. I said, because one day, God gonna take me to the top. I said, don't forget me. So I wrote on the card and I stuck it up under his door, up under the law firm. But it was a big law firm, so I don't know if they ever got it. But I was so determined like that, right? Because I know what they had done to me. See, a lot of stuff people don't tell. That's why they want to keep your videos down. That's why these people want to do all this stuff, because they're very dishonest. So let's get off of that subject. Let's talk about another shelter, one in Dallas. I'm naming names, baby, so you know I'm not lying. There's a shelter in Dallas called The Bridge. Now, what ended up happening, there was a black older woman there. So we're standing in line, right? We're standing in line, and it's time for you to go in. They call you in. You get put out every day out the shelters. And so you can't come back until a certain time of the day, like 5 or whatever the time is. And everybody lines up to go back in, right? So what ends up happening is that there was an older woman in front of me. She had this child that had, I don't know what you call it, but you know the disability where you don't grow no more and you're stunted, your growth is stunted. I don't know what they call it. Some of it is called, it's not dyslexia. What is it called? What do they call those? I don't know. Y'all know what it is. They've made programs out of it, nonprofits out of it, or whatever. So she had one of those types of children, right? And she was an older woman. She had this little cap on her head, and she was mumbling something to me over and over. And we just standing in line, right? We all hot. We all tired. We all been out there in the streets, out there, just trying to make it, right? And she keeps mumbling something, and I keep trying to hear her. She keeps mumbling something, and I keep trying to hear her. And she says, they took my home, they took my home, they took my home. And I said, ma'am, who took your home? You know, 'cause I'm really like perking up now, because we all going through this thing, right? And I'm like, who took your home? You know, and so she keeps trying to get it out, but she can't. And I said, well, ma'am, because at the bridge, if anybody know the bridge in Dallas, you got the concrete floor where they give you all these old dirty mats and dirty cocks, and you sleep on that. And then they have what they call the apartments on the other side. The apartments on the other side, they're not really apartments, they're rooms. So once you get on the program, now you know what this program is, right? You get on the meds, you claim that you mentally or you depressed, so you get the meds, you go through that little thing that you go through, and then they transition you eventually. If you comply, they transition you to maybe a place. That's the whole game, y'all. I don't agree with that. I think it's injustice. So, but anyway, I stayed in the part where you sleep on the concrete, right? Because I'm like, they not, you know. So I asked the woman, I said, have you went to talk to one of the caseworkers and tried to give them your, you know, what you going through and what's going on? Because they had that woman, listen, y'all, again, freezing cold. They would turn, you know those big industrial fans? You know what I'm talking about? These are big industrial fans. They would turn on industrial fans. Guys, we're talking about freezing cold. They have it's like a big garage, right? Anybody know the bridge? You know what I'm talking about. They would lift up what do you call this, guys? It looked like a garage. You know how when you work in a big factory or something, you have a garage, you lift up the garage. So not only would the garage doors be lifted up, they would be running industrial fans. That's blowing more cold in. So we kind of slept in the middle where that older woman slept at. She slept at the front. So what ended up happening, I went up there to the staff. I told them about the underwoman. Let's talk about what we do for the community and when y'all try to dog us out. So I went up there to talk to the staff. Again, all black people. It was people from India there. They the ones who give y'all the pills and write you all up. Then there was no white people was there. Maybe 1 or 2 white people, but really no white people there. Most of the majority are blacks, or they was like foreigners, right? The foreigners are the ones who are the doctors. Remember, nobody can prescribe you pills unless they're licensed to. So most of those people are doctors and all that kind of stuff, right? Or some type of whatever nurses, I don't know. But anyway, what ended up happening is they ended up, the older black woman, I went to go talk to a few black females, and they was trying to manipulate me. They was like, well, you can't worry about her. You need to worry about yourself. Why don't you sign up for the program so you can get into one of these? I said, no. I said, absolutely not. I said, this woman, I can handle this. I can handle sleeping on the concrete. Look at this older woman. I said, she can't. I said, guys, you need to get her off this thing and get her up there. Get her somewhere. You know what they did? They got mad at me. So then they said, you need to mind your business. Their whole attitude changed. I was like, okay, so I saw nothing wasn't going to go with that, right? So I went on. That night, guys, you think I'm lying. I would never lie about this. That night, we went to sleep. You know what ended up happening? I'm waking up out my sleep. It's a loud commotion going on. And I'm waking up out my sleep because we in a big, big area. You know, if anybody know, you know I'm not lying. We're in a big floor area, right? And so I'm like, what is going on? So I asked one of the people, I said, what's going on? I woke up out my sleep. They said somebody died. I said, somebody died? I said, well, who? I said, what's going on? Come to find out, we all looking at everybody, it was the actual older woman that was mumbling to me, trying to tell me something, and I'm the one up there trying to run up there and get her help. Denied. Total denied. So they come in, the white people come in, they done took the child. They take her off, of course, she's dead, right? So what I did, you want to talk about what we do? You want to talk about what we do for community hunting? And then how we get penalized and how we get thrown in jails, and not just by white people, but by you too. You know, and that's why y'all don't like us and y'all don't want to admit the truth, and you constantly on our platforms trying to make us look like we're the bad people. Talking about our leadership. This is not leadership. You're not offering us solutions. Just lying. If you go look at all my videos offer solutions. You're looking at a clip. You're looking at one little clip and you're not being honest. All my videos offer solutions. And my videos don't just talk to black people. They talk to everyone. Anyone that wants to overcome an injustice and been hurt by something. So, but anyway, I sat down and I wrote the city. Mind you, I have nowhere to go, nothing. I wrote the city a letter. I explained to the city how people are being abused in these places, what is going on, and what happened with that lady. I never got a response back. I emailed it and mailed it. So not only did I email it, I mailed it. Now this was years ago, but I did do it. Never got a response back. But guess what I did get? Targeted. And before you lie on my life, all you gotta do is check the facts, boo. I'm the only one in the world with my name. All you gotta know is see if I've ever been to jails before. All you gotta know is see if I've ever been targeted and done dirty before. They tried to alter it and change it to make it look like, oh, it was for, this little thing, criminal trespass, or this. That's not what it was about. It was about because I stood up for something. A lot of people sleep out on the streets. They don't necessarily target people and put people in jails. Now, what they do is they use homeless people to gather when they targeting you. So if they're targeting you, they'll make it look like they're targeting all homeless people. So they won't make it look like they're targeting, because you're the one that's trying to build a business. You're the one that's trying to accomplish something. It's really you that they after. They're not after the other homeless people. They do drugs. They not their competition, none of that. So they need to target you. So they'll create an environment to make it look like it's not just you. We're getting them too. Oh, you know the game, because y'all know I'm real with my talk. That's why I'm real with the police. So when they call the police, that's why I don't fear the police. I don't disrespect the police, but I don't fear them either, because I know the games that the people play in this world. People are just not honest. Now, yes, that happened to me. That's not a lie. Yes, those things are true. And you know that. And in order for me to describe things so detailed like that, you got to know I have been there. You can't describe something you've never been to. You've never lived that. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to know those details are true, So, but anyway, let's get down to standing up for Black people when they've been harmed psychologically. Oh, they really get pissed. So I said, okay, I'm going to make me a theme. And I said, I'm going to help Black people. I said, I'm going to talk about, Black on Black crime. I'm going to talk about, being Blacks in the hood. I'm going to talk about, how some of the Black people were in justice and had their children taken by other Black people in CPS, because we all know the truth, right? That's why I talk about Black healing. Not because, I'm trying to put Black people down. But we can't just claim what white people did and not understand and be honest about we've all worked in this system. So if we worked in this system called the United States of America, then there are some things that Blacks have unjustly done to other Blacks. There are some things that Hispanics haven't done unjustly to other Hispanics. There are some things, and to other Blacks too. So I may be a little hyped now when I say it, but go look don't just take one little clip. You haven't even watched the full video. That's just a little 40-second clip. And then you're going to try to target my stuff and make me look bad on my stuff. So that's the problem. You do serpentry. Instead of saying, oh, we understand, let's look at the full video to judge a thing. Let's look at her platform to judge a thing to see if she's really trying to put us down. Or is she really trying to bring insight and help to different people? You don't do that. You just automatically use serpentry. What is serpentry? You will look at something, you'll say, oh, this is their platform, so we're going to target what they're trying to do, so then we try to make them look bad. I'm going to give you an example. So one guy got up there on my stuff, so he saw leadership up there, right? So he's going to say, this is not leadership. We need leaders. We need people who uplift us. All those videos, you got 181 videos up there. Tell me which one that does not uplift you. Tell me which one that does not give you solutions. Tell me which one that does not inspire you. Why get on people's stuff and do serpentry? Why lie? Why be deceitful? Now, I'm not finna go on and on and on about the thousands of dollars I've given. Let's talk about church. Let's talk about how much money you've given. Even when you didn't have a job, any little dollar you give, you give. You're trying to help out. Somebody got a program, you help out. TBN talking about they got this and this and go, you help out. Everything you do, you help out. How about when you get in situations, folks laughing at you, talking about you? Now, let's get to Angie Stone and let's get to Kendrick Lamar, because I like to tie culture into this thing, right? So I'm not going to give you a long list of all the things I've done. No, I don't need to do that. I just want to give you a few specifics so that you will understand that when you talk about what have we done for the black community, baby, please, too much. Probably should have left them alone a long time ago because they was trying to destroy us. But don't play no games, y'all. Love is love. And when you got that gift in you, you still want to help no matter what you've been through. So don't try to play games on people's stuff and lie. Because y'all be out there stealing people's story, acting like you said it, acting like you done it. But what jails have you been to? What jobs have you been fired for speaking the truth? Not because you spoke the truth on the job. You ain't said nothing at the job. You were speaking the truth in the world and they didn't want you at the job. We got to get rid of you. What have you been through like that? Who's isolated you and targeted you? Who's taking things from you? No, you listen to our stories. You get up there, you act like you've been through it. And you ain't suffered nothing we suffered. Because what we had to say was true. It was passionate. It was real. We didn't put no sugar on it. We didn't sugarcoat it. We were really trying to out there help. And we stood up for something. And you know what y'all gave us in return? F you. We ain't trying to help her. F that B. We're going to break that B. Oh, yeah, baby. You know I heard the talks. We ain't trying to buy nothing from her. Oh, you know I heard it, boo. Just like I heard the talks and they be talking about keeping your stuff down. Let's get to Angie Stone. Everybody want to act like they talking about Angie Stone. I'm not talking about the whole world. We personally are not in Angie Stone's world. We know her as an artist. We know her as she sings. You know, unless you're a witch or something. But other than that, we personally not in her world like that, right? We're just not in the woman's world like that. We don't know about who she's sleeping with behind closed doors, who she dated, who did. We don't know none of that. We don't know none of that. But for all the people in the industry, for all the people in the world who are in her world, please explain to me that if you explain, see, this is why I get to this karma thing, all this karma stuff people want to talk about. If this woman, this is why I break down karma and the lies of karma. Because when people do you so dirty, they love to holler karma. So when people are done all that stuff to me and other people for trying to stand up for something, for standing up for blacks or standing up for this person or that person, they will lie and say we did that to them because of karma. They'll go pick up the simplest thing you did when you were 12 years old or something. Like these people do all kind of psychiatric metrics, right? Psych metrics on your mind, reversal psychology, all kind of mess. But let's talk about it. Recently, Tyler Perry just did a video about Angie Stone and her song about what goes around comes around, oh, this and this and that. All of this karma and talk, I want you to pay attention to just how true. We get passed down psychological. This is where I love to help people. Because we get passed down psychological stuff that sounds so good, but it's not always true, you guys. That's why we got to watch what we take on, and we think it's very, very true when it's really not. You have to use it in totality, right? And this is where I love to help people. Now, I want you to understand this. So Tyler Perry is talking, and he's mentioning her songs, and he's mentioning what goes up must come down, what goes around must come around. Now, you would have to say that if that's true, the way that Angie Stone died, which was unpleasant. Not only did she have one wreck, she had a second wreck, a double wreck. She was already discombobulated. Now they're coming back out saying she was hit again. That's what they saying. We wasn't there. We just going by what these people say, right? Then she just found out at the age of damn near 50, 60 years old that she was robbed the whole entire time. Some of her copyrights wasn't even filed, all this kind of stuff. Can you please explain to me, out of all the people that she so-called helped, that she so-called put on, I'm talking about in her world, not us. We don't know her like that. All of the people that she's done all these magnificent things for, she's a star. That means she have came across many of people, thousands and thousands of millions of people, traveled all over the states and maybe even the world. All the people in the industry, all the lawyers she know, all the attorneys, all the so-called people, entertainers, actors, all this. You mean to tell me that nobody could have put that woman on about that she was being robbed? There are people out here in the world that'll say every now and then, that'll project their voice to me and say, hey, they trying to set you up. You mean to tell me that nobody in this world, y'all, out of all those years was letting that woman know that she was being robbed in her world? That she had to finally find out. See, when people die, everybody wanna, everybody wanna act like, oh my God, how could this happen? Everybody wanna act like they're fighting for justice. Do you understand what I'm saying to you guys? Only that woman know what she had to endure. And if you want to go by karma, you would have to ask yourself, the way that she died, if karma is real, did she do that to someone's life like that in her lifetime? The same, you know what you would say? Hell no, don't you say nothing like that? Hell no. Okay, well then your karma lies are not true. Good things do happen to, bad things do happen to good people. And admit it, and stop lying on people, and stop propagating karma anytime you get ready. Stop making up all your shenanigans. Justice is real, but karma is witchcraft and deception. Even Angie Stone said in her own song that people were wishing ill against her. She wasn't talking about people just in the industry. When I say industry, I'm talking about the top dogs, people all around her. Stop manipulating stuff at any time you guys get ready. Be honest. Bad things happen to good people, not because they did something bad. There have been people who stood up. There have been doctors who stood up in this world to tell you about these meds that were destroying people. Where them docs at? They ain't got rid of them, honey. Where they at? They got all the quack doctors up in there. Where they at? So y'all quit manipulating karma anytime you get ready. So when y'all want to come up as people, up against people as competition, and you want to knock them out about karma. Even on this YouTube, you know how many people call me ugly? You know how many people who said don't nobody want to hear her? Us, other people. They running down there laughing. I ain't gonna even edit it out. I'm not gonna even. I want you to hear the sounds. That's a white one, by the way, lad. Because like I said, it's not just white people. It's us too, y'all. When I first was starting, listen, I was saying stuff a long time ago. I didn't even have a YouTube channel. I wasn't even thinking about YouTube channel, right? I wasn't thinking about trying to put it on YouTube to make a sale with it. Because, you know how people say, package your stuff, package your stories, do all that. I wasn't even trying to do that. I was literally just trying to share my experience and share my insight and really just help because there were people going through stuff. I was called a liar. I was saying you a B. I was being threatened, all of that. You understand? But did you not know that there were people stealing conversations out my mouth in the ether? Next thing you know, I was seeing stuff popping up on YouTube. I was like, them people don't talk like that. So they was literally stealing it, putting it on their platform, but then everybody was dogging me out. So this white dude walked up to me one day. He said, they keep trying to knock you down. When he said they, he was talking about all the different people, right? He said, you need to make your own channel. You need to create your own thing. And I said, okay. And I still didn't do it. I still didn't do it till like 2 years later. So you'll see 2019 on my channel thing, but you won't see my videos go back and look at my first video. It was just present in 2024 going into 2025. Since then, I've made 180 something videos. Do you understand that? So even though the channel was up there since 2019, go look at my videos when I started doing this show. At first, it was the Critical Line Network. I changed it to the Creative Leadership Network. But go look at it. Go look at my videos when you start. Go look at my first interview because that's when I first started doing this. My first interview was with the first two people. One is a guy. We're talking about business, right, and spirituality. The second one, we're talking about autism. That's when I first started making this channel roll. And that was just recently, leaving 2024, going into 2025. Do you understand that? That dude told me that a while ago, and but there were plenty of people that was still in all the conversation, because I was unique. I wouldn't say things the way other people said stuff. And then now what I found out they was doing, every time I try to make my video, they would cut it, they would do stuff, they would stop it, all this stuff, right? Go look at my video when I talk about syndrome. What do they call this thing? Imposter syndrome. Nobody's saying it the way I'm saying it. So what they did, I just recently made that they cut it. They cut it, right? So I had to break it down in two parts. I had to go back and refilm the second part. They cut it. They do stuff like that. And then they'll sit there and hold it down in the system. You hear them talking in the ether, they say stuff like that. We just hold them down like we did the rest of them. That's what they do. So I want you guys to understand, I can reach off a laundry list of what what we do for the community and what we have done. Nobody has to do that. You know the truth. You know the truth. You know how this game operates. Now let's get to Kendrick Lamar. So I made a little video about Kendrick Lamar. I made all the good reference to Kendrick Lamar, how the women were not butt naked in there, how they kept it, a certain type of way, kept it, looking good. All of that is in there. Nobody commented on any of the positive stuff in there. And then I talked about Drake. I made a reference to Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I said, what if they came to the Super Bowl and really just did it differently, right? I said, because you don't see white people getting in the Super Bowl knocking each other. I said, if they did Jennifer Lopez at the Super Bowl, I said, Jennifer Lopez is not going to be up there knocking another Latina. She's going to take that opportunity. She may do it in her songs and stuff in the thing, but she's going to take that opportunity and she's going to represent the Latino community with the thing, which is what Kendrick Lamar did. But I said, what if they could have did it different and Drake would have came out on stage? He made it look like he was going to play that song, right? And then Drake would have came out on stage and then he would have said, and everybody it would have been a different talk, right? How come they got up there and got real negative? That's them still trying to knock you and still don't want to admit what they're doing. So next time y'all say, what have they? Now listen, we do say that in the black community. They up there making up all these stories. What have they actually done for the black community? Everybody say that, right? But you know the ones who have, let me put it this way. You know the voices in this world, right? They don't have to be famous. You know the ones who have stood up for things and spoke up for things. And not just did it in word, but did it in deed. And has suffered the penalty for it. And everybody tried to cover it up and call it karma. Do you understand that? You know what people have been through. So if you want to really help black people, don't you ever come on my channel editing out stuff when you know you said that all negative. Because you wanted to cover it up. You want to make it look like that you going back being inspiring. That's not what you were doing. Because you know our stories. You know the real deal. You know what you said to us, but we ain't trying to help her. We just trying to use her in to help her. Y'all know the truth. Y'all know the real deal. Not just in the industries, but just in everything. You know the deal. So next time you come to my stuff, this is how I break it down. I don't know how nobody will break it down. Now, there have been people record me, walking by, record me, doing all kind of stuff. They be recording you, honey. But when you come on my stuff, and do you want to think this is just about black people? I helped a white man who was an alcoholic, who was precious. I don't even deal with alcoholics too much. Because a lot of people practice spiritual energy. They try to put things on you, right? I go by my spirit. I don't go by what people say. I don't care if people call you mean or whatever. You got to go by what people say. There are people practicing a lot of stuff. You got to protect yourself. But there was this white dude. Matter of fact, at the same time I started working at, I had started volunteering for Katrina. Then I went over there and got that job. But at the same time, I was going to college and all of that, right? There was this white guy. I would see him every now and then after I get off of work, right? And so by this time, I'm working for the council. So I would get off of work, right? And what ended up happening is that I saw this white guy. And I saw him one day. And I just would be friendly with him and keep going, And he was in a wheelchair. And I told him one day, I said, White, what you doing out here? It was a nice day or whatever. I said, what you doing? A weekend, I was off for work. I said, what you doing out here? In my little, messing with him little voice. He said, I'm so hungry. He said, man, I'm just hungry. I said, you were hungry? And so in my mind, I said, well, stay right here. Because I was on my way to McDonald's. I walked out my door. I was going to McDonald's across the street, right? And so I told him, I said, stay right here. I said, I'll be back. Because I went across the 7-Eleven to get something out my bank account and then to go across the street. And he was at the 7-Eleven. And so I was thinking in my mind, I didn't say it out loud. I was thinking in my mind, because I was going to get me the big platter, honey. That's what I used to be like, overweight, y'all. I used to have the big platter. You know, you're gonna get a plate where you want the pancakes, the sausages, the egg, give me an extra sausage, you know. you know how it goes. So anyway, I said, I thought in my mind, I said, well, ain't no way I'm just gonna get him a biscuit sandwich. I said, if I'm gonna get me this, I'm gonna get him a platter too, you know. So I ordered 2 big platters, right? You know, you have the Big Mac, big platter. So I walked it back across the street. This is no lie, guys. You know, God don't allow us to just sit up and be telling stuff that it don't be true. And so I went back across the thing, and well, people do it and they get away with it, you know. But eventually, they lies get caught up to it. I always got proof of my stuff. They lies get caught up to, right? So, but anyway, I went back across the street. He was rolling in his chair. He had the food in his hand. He was like, "Thank you, ma'am. You know, thank you. Just thank you, thank you." He said, "God gonna bless you. I'm telling you, God gonna bless you." But I'm used to hearing people say that, right? And I've been done so dirty by the church. I didn't really care about that part. Because I had really just stopped going to the churches at that time. I went to a major church at that time. Done dirty. When I say done dirty, done dirty. And by this time, growing up, I was done dirty by the church when I was a kid too. So I was just fed up, done with that church stuff. You know. So I kind of heard him, but I didn't hear him. I was just helping him, you know, just to be helping. I went on and didn't think nothing of it. So one day, some time had passed. One day I had got off of work. I hadn't been seeing him for a while. So one day I'm talking to one of the neighbors. We chilling or whatever. And so we get to talking about, you know, the apartments and the people in the community and all that kind of stuff. Come to find out the man done died. No joke, no lie. I was in shock. I was like, he what? Because I see him in the minute. They was like, no, he passed away. Because I stayed on this end at the front. He stayed at the very end down there. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. They was like, no, he passed away. And I hadn't seen the man no more. So again, sometimes I think things in life are play acts because people play on people these days just to try, because I've seen people doing that, just to try to see how you respond or just to try to see if they can make up a lie on you to say you're really not as kind as you say you are because you fed up with the people. You ain't trying to let people take advantage of you like that no more. You really done good things for people, right? But sometimes you really don't know, right? And in your nativity, you're so busy out there trying to be good to people. And they never tell the truth about all the dirty stuff that they done to you. That a lot of that stuff is because you were standing up for what was right. Or you were speaking about things that were happening to you and other people. And they had to try to destroy you. So I want y'all guys to remember that. You have a great day. I'm not going to run you a laundry list down of all the things I've done in my lifetime. Honey, half of it I don't even remember. A lot of times I forget stuff. I do a lot of great things and forget. And sometimes those things are just great in private. I've given black men $20 who was homeless. I remember having food stamps. I'm talking about all the way down to food stamps. I would be in California. This is no lie. I would have food stamps. You get your GR. You know you can't make that stuff up. I know about GR. Don't no other state give you GR. And I would see homeless people. Girl, I would be sitting up there. I would go into Subway. I said, okay, I want to get them a big sandwich. That way they cut it in half. They have some for now, some for later. That's how I was always thinking. As soon as you ain't got no more money, they run around laughing at you. Cause you ain't got no money, you hungry now. Child, on every level, people do dirt. From the top to the bottom. You do such good, they doing such bad to try to knock you. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye. And to the ones who come on my platform and you see what I'm trying to achieve, but you trying to knock me and you doing serpentry, only God can deal with you. You have a great one.